All right, everybody, another episode of Back It Up. Missing our main host, Corey Winkoff. He's on maternity leave. Child number 2 just joined us, and he'll be back sooner than later. As always, I'm John Oderna, joined with Mike Silipo, and a very special guest, Coach Madalon from Princeton joins us today. So, Coach, how you doing?
How you doing? Happy to be here. Congrats to Corey. His life definitely just got a lot busier.
Yeah, me and John were a little upset about the fact that we got put on the back burner here for Van's Sunday Winkoff, but we got a new ex-attackman out there coming, Core, so we're excited for you, brother.
I'm making a push for him to be the first defensive Winkoff in the family.
No shot.
We'll see how you guys do hosting this.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, Coach, it's the how you doing portion, so we got to ask, and it's probably a little corny, and John probably gets annoyed by it. Corey certainly does, but how do you say how you doing?
Well, I mean, at some point, there was a vowel on the end of my name. I don't know where we lost it along the way, but we've got the Italian blood, so just like you, how you doing? I can appreciate that.
Good to hear. So what's talk to us about what Princeton's been doing since the school year ended, or even when coronavirus hit and guys had to go home. Just walk us through that.
Sure. I mean, really tough times. And the Ivy League was on the forefront of these decisions, and when it all kind of went down, I'm not sure we all had the perspective right then and there that it was going to go to kind of the larger scale in all of athletics and Division I sports. I mean, it was the Ivy League first, and there were still men's lacrosse Division I games being played, a week or two after that decision. So it was hard. It was, it was really emotional for our guys. But since then, we've kind of all got our heads around it and really understood. And that's, that's kind of part of it, control the controllable. And now at this point, we're trying, our staff as a whole is just really trying to connect with our guys, take this opportunity to, just strengthen the culture. You can't really build your systems, as much from afar. You can't really get better at riding clearing as a team right now. You can't really get better at 6-on-6 offense. You can obviously a little bit watching film here or there, but more or less we're just trying to keep staying in touch with our guys, check in, make sure they're getting squared away with their virtual internships and internships, and just kind of getting ready to, enjoy the summer. And obviously, I mean, hopefully we're all sitting next to each other sometime soon, but now Princeton just, we've had a bunch of team meetings, and, it's tough seeing these guys. You're looking at a screen, you're looking at a little box, and that's really all you're getting from your guys. So, our coaches, Jim Mitchell, Jeremy Hirsch, Chris Islanian, those guys are just working, touching base with our guys, staying in touch, and, just making sure they're all right, just checking in on them.
We probably should have done this sooner, Coach, but again, we don't have the expert Corey to guide us. But give us your background and your coaching tree and your coaching path so that we can kind of, set the stage for everything.
Sure. I'd be happy to share. Obviously, I'm very grateful to be currently the head coach of Princeton. But, I started my playing career at Hofstra. Well, before that, grew up playing in Darien, Connecticut, played for a longtime coach, Jeff Braymeyer. He's still there doing an outstanding job. I think he just hit 600 wins as a high school coach. It was incredible. And it's a great lacrosse town. And I went to play for John Danowski at Hofstra for my first 2 years. And then I transferred to Roanoke College, where I played for Bill Pilot and Carl Haas. And those two guys, Bill Pilot and Carl Haas are probably the reason why I'm in coaching. I just had such an awesome experience down there playing, and then really building a relationship with my coach. My senior year, I used to eat lunch with Coach Haas almost every day, watching film, or we'd go grab a bite. And I just really appreciated that relationship that a player could make with his coaches. And it's not one I totally had growing up through youth sports in high school. So it was really my first, intimate player-coach relationship. And I enjoyed it. And it sparked me watching film piece and everything. So, from there I graduated, and, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. So I kind of hedged my bets and was going the education route. I was just going to teach and coach. I've got my dad's couple brothers are both educators. My brother's sisters are educators. So I just thought it'd be a great path. I love that quality of life of being able to teach, coach, and that. So I actually graduated from Roanoke and took a job for the Department of Defense teaching 8th grade history on a NATO base in Aviano, Italy. So very eye-opening, very, very challenging. Which is why I'm coaching right now. It was quite a humbling experience, just getting out there, being a young guy and trying to teach. And, I was fortunate enough at that point to be picked up by the San Francisco Dragons and played out there and met a bunch of good people, and was fortunate enough to end up at Stevens Tech. I did take a little coaching stint. I've got to give a shout out to Ray Rostan at Hampton Sydney. He kind of welcomed me in for a little 6-month coaching stint in the spring when I came back from Italy, and let me assistant coach defense and help learn some man down and really just get my feet wet. So it was awesome. And then I moved on to Stevens Tech, and I know John and I, we'll be able to talk about that in a little bit, but worked for Byron Collins for my first 2 years there. I was really fortunate. Doug Locker, who was actually the GM of the San Francisco team, connected me with Byron Collins. And Doug Locker actually coached Byron at Whittier, so very small world. And then when I came into Stevens, I actually replaced a really cool coaching tree. There was Doug Massardi, who's now the head coach at Kenyon, who was working for Byron Collins. Ryan Wellner, who's currently an assistant coach at Notre Dame, was working for Byron Collins, and Travis Johnson, who's currently the head coach at NJIT. So really cool little coaching tree there. And those guys did a good job. As I came in and replaced those guys, they always looked out for me. So very, very cool. Then Byron moved on and Gene Plusso came in to be the head coach of Stevens Tech. I was kind of knee deep in my grad degree. So I was pursuing a master's degree in business management there. And the athletic director, Russ Rogers, was kind enough to just keep me on. Even though the coaching staff turned over, kept me on in any role. And that's kind of when Plusso and I got to meet each other. And, you guys both know me well. I mean, Gene Plusso is one of my best buds, one of my mentors. And I owe a lot to that guy, for where I am today and for all coaching. So, but yeah, spent 4 years under Gene Plusso. And that's when I made the switch from defense to offense. Learned a whole lot about how to run a program, how to manage relationships, just learned a whole lot. And then was very fortunate that he helped me, get an opportunity at Princeton. And Chris Bates, I'm forever grateful, offered me this opportunity to be an assistant offensive coordinator for him. And that was awesome. And that was eye-opening, to be able to step into that office, Tom Schreiber's senior year, and coach that group. And then, just be able to work with John Walker, who was coming off a national championship at Virginia. And then he stepped in as RD coordinator. So it was an incredible office to be able to learn from these guys, learn the Division I landscape. And then in the most unfortunate circumstances to end up as the head coach of Princeton. I'm obviously extremely grateful, but, since becoming the head coach here, for me, I know how important the staff is. So my whole goal is to just surround myself and try to hire the best people possible that complement you very well. And I'm trying to do that. I feel very lucky with the staff I have now, with Jim Mitchell as my offensive coordinator, Jeremy Hirsch as my defensive coordinator, and Chris Aslanian as our volunteer. So really, really lucky. I hope I didn't ramble too long, but
perfect.
Just a little quick insight.
Actually, I think for at Princeton Lax and this talk of on Instagram, Coach, part of the banter, I think that got you on. Besides the behind closed doors that we don't need to talk about, our text messages back and forth, Coach, chasing you.
Hey, I've got a 3-year-old and a 9-month-old that have absolutely mauled me in quarantine life. So I'm working on my parenting skills.
Okay, that's all right. I forgive you. I think we got to give a little shout out to them, because I did promise whoever runs your Instagram that we would give a little 2011 Mike Silipo, but I figured we should dive even further back to 2009. We're at Stevens here. Coach Mad. So what side of the ball are you coaching, Coach? I mean,
2009. I'm absolutely a young defensive coordinator.
Okay. Okay.
I think I've got to look back.
Okay, so you're a young defensive coordinator here. All right. Well, let me see.
We'll see. Let this roll. I got to see my staff here.
Well, hold on. I already got this plan here. They want to see the kids, so we're gonna give the people what they want. For all the people who say that I don't pass the ball, you're gonna see it. Here's big number 10 here, doing what he does best. Well, yeah. What did the D coordinator say about this in your 10-man ride? Yeah. See you later.
I'm not sure 10 made the scout, but we'll have to look back. No, I'm just kidding. 10 definitely made the scout. Big in between the lines athlete. You guys were awesome. Ithaca was awesome. Coach Long up there, your guys' program, like, you play an awesome running gun style. You're always, a bigger and more athletic Division III team. So it was really cool to see. I mean, look, this was awesome. What a cool setting. I love that deal. I spent 6 years there. So
really what a place to have a game.
I loved my time at Stevens Tech. I absolutely loved it.
Well, Coach, so you're telling me after this timeout, this wasn't you who drew up this. Hold on, let's get to it here. So I wasn't able to. I'm not able to give you this credit for this out of bounds play. Give it to your best player and let him say how you doing.
Rewind that clip.
I can't give you credit for this, Coach.
Oh no, I'll take credit no matter what, especially right now.
That looks like Coach Silipo out of a timeout with Chris Gray.
Give the best players the ball, Coach.
That looks like the J.R. Areskowitz kid, who was a really talented kid who actually went on to play on the LXM. I don't know. I was absolutely coaching defense at this point. So as you guys were lighting us up, that was my lack of adjustments back then.
All right. Well, I guess I'm going to give one more shout out to the world of D3 lacrosse and to me, I guess, really, and to at Princeton Lax, and to, I guess,
they asked for it, yeah.
Yeah, they asked for it, so I'm going to give it to them. This is a little man down clear action. Here's the guy who didn't make the scout right here in the middle. A little upset that he doesn't have the ball because the All-American lefty. This is Heckman's brother, actually, right, Mads?
Yeah, it's a great player. Absolutely.
Awesome player. I'm a little upset, so then they finally give it to me. Up a little 2009 toe drag with a whipless stick. And then just turn it on the gears, Coach.
Oh, you're being haunted by one of my favorite LSMs ever. This kid, Jake Messimer, a Rochester kid. I think he was a Henrietta kid, but just awesome.
Stands no chance, Coach. Just
and actually in cage. So in cage is really funny. We got a goalie, Dave Decker. So I am coaching defense at this point. Dave Decker was actually a transfer from Hofstra too. He was an awesome goalie.
You guys are
right. Good work, Coach Silipo. I do love the Stevens Tech Empire 8 Ithaca Stevens tie. So I
the best.
My affinity for Division III lacrosse. I absolutely love it.
I also like that Coach Silipo pulled the clips where he didn't lose the ball for his team.
I'm coming back for another episode. I will come prepared with clips.
Well, so I have more, but I didn't want to bore our viewers. I do have one where, again, we won in 2010. Coach Long is all by himself for our staff, along with our guy who ran the box, John Wallace, who's an epic human being. But your staff was you, Koch, Dougie Sage, who's the head coach at Drew, and Peluso, versus Coach Long. And I do turn the ball over at the end of the game and trying to run the clock out. We still won 11-8.
Oh, gosh.
That might have been your double team, Coach. I don't know.
We'll see. But those were awesome games. Very awesome. Cool. That was good footage. Good work. Pull it off the VHS tape. I can appreciate it.
Yeah, that was nice.
We had to pull it out for at Princeton Lax. So let's dive into unless, John, you want to make fun of me here. Do you want to dive into the drill? What do you think?
Yeah, let's get into the drill segment here.
Sure. All right, Coach, anything you want to say before I light up the video, or you want to do a lot of
video? Yeah, absolutely. As we kick off this video, these guys are bringing it up. We call this is a pretty standard 54 drill. We actually learned it as NAS drill, and I learned that from Coach Peluso. We ran it at Stevens Tech almost every single day. And, I'm not sure he's doing it. I'm pretty sure he's doing it now, but, I can't speak for his program. But, we've used it at Princeton at different times throughout the year. We've used it in different ways. But the term NAS drill, and that's how we term it at Princeton. I know Coach Peluso finished his playing career up at NAS. I believe it was Coach Nelson that was his head coach up there, and just a good old school drill. And again, I'm sure a lot of folks have seen this drill. I guess my goal in explaining this is you can kind of take a really simple drill, and I know a lot of folks know this, but we just kind of really tweak it and make sure we're emphasizing our system and our terminology in a very simple drill. This is actually, so the clip you guys are going to see, and hold the clip for a real quick minute, is it actually starts in the middle of the play. So, to set up this drill, and obviously for the folks listening, it's a little challenging as I don't have a diagram in front of me, but you start with 3 attackmen and essentially 3 attackmen and 4 defensemen in at each end, or 3 attackmen and 2 close defensemen. And then to start, you'll add those 2 additional midfielders in to create a box. So as the ball kicks down the first end, they're going to run a 54. As the 54 happens, shot, save, turnover, whatever it may be, the top 2 defensive players in the box are going to break up and out to start the next portion of the drill. The lower 2 defensemen will occupy those 2 top spots, and 2 new defensemen will come in from the base. So in this drill, everybody's running transition, everybody's playing a little O, everybody's playing a little D. You can also tweak this drill to where people only populate the top 2 spots. So you are filling in just the top two with middies and LSMs and D-mid and face-off guy personnel, and you're keeping your base defenseman in the lower two spots. So the general setup. Now, the portion of this drill, so it's a 54 drill. So as this clip runs, and you'll see it, you can see there's a riding component to us.
Wait a second.
Okay?
Is this a young Mike Silipo here?
I'm not sure. It looks very much like a young Mike Silipo in the middle of the field. But anyway, so what you're seeing right there, okay? Can you pause right here real quick? Okay, so you can see there were four defensemen. There were four black defensemen, four defensemen in black started in the play, okay? The top two defensemen, after this play is done, they will be the two players breaking out to play offense going down the other end, and they will attack a 54 that is waiting for them, okay? So, but the cool part of this drill and what we're using, and I think this is this year, we're using this drill we're using this drill to emphasize riding and clearing. So, for example, right now you're seeing the 54 come down. If you want to offensively work on a pass down, pick down, there you go. You can. If you want to work on hit the trailer and just play the drag 54 game, you can. If you want to kick it through X on a 54 and work the cut and the over the top look, you can as well. So my point is there's a lot. Our emphasis of this was pretty freelance offensively. We do a little pass down, pick down stuff. So you may see some of that, but the emphasis for us in this drill is what we call eliminate the pause. And we're trying to really emphasize sudden change moments. So shot save, shot turnover. We want our attackmen, we want no hesitation. We want to turn into absolute savages riding the ball. We also want to be able to, as midfielders, find those two middies quickly breaking out and stop that quick over the top look. So we're really emphasizing on this drill, the eliminate the pause, dominate the sudden change moments. So this is good freelance. You're working offense, you're working defense. We want the ball kicking. Now at this point, we want everybody reacting, and you can see it. We want the guy in black getting up and out on fire, okay? Which he does. He beats him over the top, creates great transition, and you only ride to the midline. So you can see the orange team. They'll kind of break off once they hit the midline. And now you let the drill go, so they'll break off.
Yeah, so Coach, sorry. So the top two who play the 54 then ride to the midline and then are out.
Absolutely. So what it does is if you're playing offense, you'll see the black guys are on offense right now, team wearing black. They'll play offense. At this point, on a turnover, okay, there are 5 offensive players, and now pause it. There are only 5 defensive players.
Right.
So it is a 5-on-5 clear. There is no advantage. So that means people really have to work for the ball. You have to be organized. You have to be able to use your voice. All the things we preach in our riding and clearing system is what we're barking during this drill. We're talking about breaking down properly. We're talking about riding to the midline. We're talking about proper angles, pursuit angles. We're talking about chasing and never giving up, And in the clearing game, we're talking really simply, 1 run, 2 move it, really simple clearing concepts. We're not stopping this drill a lot. We run this drill for maybe a 6 to 8 minute segment in practice. We may use it as a compete drill. Absolutely. You can see that backside defenseman have to make a decision, and that guy coming upfield makes the wrong look. If we had any communication on the backside, we should have thrown that skip ball and then tapped it one more. But he tries to make the home run play on the backside. Either way, I mean, look, we wouldn't be harping on too much of this in practice. We're really just trying to get these guys to just kind of understand the risk and the decisions. But okay, so for example, right there, this is why this drill is awesome. Okay, you see the goalie, too casual in cage, throws a knucklehead pass, gets turned over. Orange is going to jam it down his throat. The goal right now is to keep riding this team. Cool. You can ride it back for 5, 6. Here it is, another ride back. Okay, and this is
Coach. Who's your top group here?
It might be I think we're actually even splits here. So in these transition drills, when we get a program drill, we really do try to keep a lot of even splits in this stuff. If we were working on a specific offensive look, we may want our offense together, or if we were looking to build chemistry, depending on where we are in the season, defensively, we may. Where is that's actually? Who is that? It's actually. Actually, I don't know. I can't see our number. Our footage.
He's 22 right here, right?
He is. It's either 12 or 22. So that probably is Sowers right there.
Coach Mads, could you expound on you just said if we're running a program drill, is that like a term that you guys use?
Not really. I guess we,
look is sick.
With an abbreviated preseason in the Ivy League, you want to get to the point where you're practicing ones versus twos, because you really don't have, you have to get your top group groomed immediately. So my point is, like, this is a drill where we're not working on like a specific offensive look,
right,
or we don't need the first attack to play together. This is a program drill, meaning like right now, all we're focusing on is, for example, riding and clearing. So I don't care who's riding and clearing together. It doesn't matter who's riding next to you. You ride with the same mentality. It doesn't matter who's clearing next to you. You clear with the same mentality. So that's kind of how we look at that stuff.
That's a really cool way to look at it, a program drill. Sorry, John.
No, what I like too, and this is something I think makes watching a drill like this cool. I think everybody could go blue in the face talking about like attacking a 5v4, and do you pass down, pick down, and do you cut, and all that stuff. What I like about it is, and we talk about this all the time on this show, is that drill helps you win the gray, right? Like win that sudden change, and your guys are winning the gray because they've got to be high IQ players, understand the situation. I'm riding, here's my pursuit, or here's what I have to find. It's a midfielder, or I have to come back to the ball in the clear, or whatever it is. I think it does help your guys win the gray, and that's so important in our sport. Some guys become so robotic, but you got to win the gray.
No, I appreciate that. I mean, and that is, you can clearly see on film if you eliminate the pause. Like if you react well, or if you're an attackman and you miss a shot and you're feeling sorry for yourself and you don't ride well, you don't attack, you don't respond well. So, again, but I'm not saying we may use that drill for pass down, pick down purposes too. Right. We may use that drill where, hey, we're playing Manhattan or BU and they run a lot of pass down, pick down. We may use that drill for pass down, pick down because it does give you an odd advantage on the backside. So it makes it harder to defend. Right. Look, I don't know how often a 54 happens in a game, and they happen very quickly or organically. So, to spend 10 minutes every day running a 54 and harping that, I think being able to really get our group, especially at Princeton, to understand that this isn't a 54 offensive drill. This is a riding and clearing drill. This for our goalies. Like, I look at our goalies and I talk to our whole team. I say, fellas, there is so much pressure on our goalies in this drill. And I look at our goalies, I'm like, this is my most important drill for our goalies, because you are in an even clearing situation, meaning you don't have a man advantage. You're going to have to trust your quick instincts if you put it out over the top, and you're going to have to be confident in your throws. Otherwise, if you don't, you're going to be in a position where you're either going to dodge someone, make a play on the move, or help communicate a double team. So it's a really great clearing team. I think a clearing drill. I think it helps our goalies out of it. And like, that's a drill that if I'm really evaluating a goalie, we'll stick him in that drill and kind of see how he survives in terms of those turnovers and those clearing situations.
Right. I love it defensively too, because you hit some like zone concepts. Like a lot of times, especially if we're man down, we'll try to give our guys a point of emphasis, and I'll say that might be an approach/skewer drill because we're man down. It might be a communication drill. Like I think there's 50 things that happen every rep that are awesome in a drill like that.
I mean, I remember going my first practice with the San Francisco Dragons, and we're running a 54 drill, and these are like pros. These are the best of the best. I'm a Division III guy. I'm the only one with a crappy helmet. Probably a back rack. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, we're running this drill, and Eric Martin, one of the best defensemen I've ever played with from Salisbury, and we've got guys around us from Notre Dame, Hopkins, Duke, you name it, and no one knew how to run 54 defensively. They didn't know whether to go ball to ball, rotate into the backside, how you were playing the pass through X. And I'm watching Eric Martin pretty much lose his marbles and then, stop the whole drill and be like, holy cow, like, we're sitting here and we can't even communicate through a 54. So defensively, I could go on forever about but my point is defensively, there are a couple ways to play it. They're all really simple. You just kind of communicate through them. And, it was just funny. We had guys from all different Division I programs, and some guys learned to play a 54 defensively, ball to ball. Some guys learned to rotate into everything. So it's just interesting. You could talk for hours on how to play a 54.
Well, I think it's great. I mean, we were talking about it with Coach Terry at Michigan about how you can boil everything down, or was it Coach Stevens, where you boil everything down to 2-on-1s or 4-on-3s and 54s. And I think it's an exceptional way to teach the game. And we actually do something like that at BU, where we run our man offense to where they have to hit their spots and defense is constantly rotating. I think the 54 advantage in the number sense is a really good way to teach the game. Really good way.
Yeah, I mean, and look, here's another, like in any 54 drill, offensively, like those stepping in the gap concept and kind of like finding those
Yep.
soft spots between the two defenders and putting your defenseman in a spot where, he can't play you and the ball. Those are really all great, simple spacing concepts that without any high level system that you're trying to teach, if you just harp on those concepts, you'll be great in that drill too.
Awesome.
Mike,
What do you
wanna move
think?
into the film room?
Yeah, let's dive into it. All right, Coach. So why don't you? Here we are, Princeton UVA, returning national champs. Are you guys top 5 at this point?
I can't. No shot. Still trying to figure ourselves out. I think we played Monmouth and Colgate up to this point, so I think we're garnering some respect. But I appreciate you guys showing this game. This is a big one for our program, and this was a good day for us.
But what were some things that you guys were trying to do, like coming into the game? Anything you were focused on from their perspective that put you on edge?
Yeah, a whole lot of things.
Everything.
Yeah, no, but Virginia, and that staff's teams have been outstanding in between the lines. They really make you pay, off the face off in the ride clear game. So, we spent a lot of time that week just kind of making sure we had the right focus and concentration in between the lines, and we weren't trying to overcomplicate it. We didn't change our systems much. We were just really trying to just get our guys the confidence to make the right looks. But this is a very athletic team.
Ooh.
So is this the first possession of the game?
Yeah, first possession.
So look, I mean, from our vantage point, and Jim Mitchell, our offensive coordinator, has done an outstanding job with our game plans. And, he's only been with me for a year, but, we hit it off. And, he's just done such a good job connecting to our players and instilling the confidence in our player to kind of execute. But, every game we kind of start just in our base offense, and we're really just trying to get a feel for how they're covering us. What's the general defensive philosophy? No slide, quick slide, how they're playing picks. This on the sideline as a coaching staff, we're trying to really understand what they're trying to do defensively. Okay, how are they playing picks at X? Are they switching them? Are they dogging them? Whatever the terminology is. How are they playing off ball? Are they freezing? Are they staying with? How are they sliding? Are they supporting dodges from up top? Are they supporting dodge from behind? Are they getting into invert packages when we show our first invert or big little? So these are all things as a head coach and our coordinators are all trying to figure out live on the sideline as we're kind of showing our just initial base looks.
Right.
How many times a game do you make sure that Sowers picks the ball up off the end line?
I mean, look, it's very, and you just see, I mean, look, Michael's awesome. He's one of the best, if not the best college lacrosse player I've been around. He does it. And that's just not the on the field stuff. But I mean, look, we give Michael the ball a lot in our offense. We really understand his strengths. And I think where our team really kind of found their stride this year was just understanding that. Like, yeah, we gave the ball to Michael a little longer. We maybe let him hold on to the ball longer than people may. But understanding that and being able to play off that was key. That was a hell of a save. That was Eric Peters. Rock Canyon guy. Yeah, it was great. I think he had 5 point-blank saves in the first quarter of this game. So this score could have been very different coming out of the first quarter, but Eric did a great job of kind of holding us in there and kind of just let us get our feet underneath us.
Defensively, how are you guys prepping for, what Virginia is and what Coach Kerwin does?
Sure. Again, we're a slide recovery defense, so, we're not going to be scared to slide. We're going to support you if you need it. But right now we're going to see how we can do on certain matchups and see how and to what extent we need to support them. We are staying in our base package to start most games. At least this season we kind of hung in our base looks, weren't really dropping into any invert or big little packages to start. We were just going to try to see how we defended it. But, look, Virginia's they've got All-Americans in every position. And they've got really great athletes and really great lacrosse players. So we were just trying to kind of, we talked about it all year, I guess, defensively, just really understanding our athleticism and trying to figure out where in what space we could be dominant within. So we may not, this game, we probably weren't pressing Virginia to the sideline. Athletically on paper, they were a more athletic team. So we were just trying to use our athletes to the best we could use our athletes. And then look, I mean, you can relate this to the 54 drill all day right here. That's a guy that, right there, if we were watching that on tape and when we did afterwards, he drew a slide up field. We would have loved him to kick it one more down to the pipe. But look, you gotta live with the decisions your guys make in transition if you're willing to do that. So, at that point, I'm sure he's running off and we're saying, hey, knucklehead, maybe hit the one more there. But, at the same time, we were very happy with the aggressive play, and he did a hell of a job clearing the ball. So, we'll give that guy the freedom to kind of make that play.
He got body bagged, so
He did.
Yeah,
it's the lacrosse gods getting back.
Hey, we talk. If you're not running into the spots, if you don't finish the ball where you get hit, then you're not running into the tough spots. So, we appreciate that very much.
Oh, how you doing, 54 drill coach?
Yep.
Yeah, it's good. That's a little
go.
ride. Hey, that's a little ride back goal. And hey, if we watch this whole game, I don't know how, I can't remember the score, but I don't remember, was it 16-14 or whatever it was? I would say 75% of the goals were scored in broken plays. And
this
Virginia
is great
does
too.
that well. We really, Coach Mitchell's done a great job emphasizing every time the ball's on the ground offensively, it's an opportunity for us to score.
Right.
So we've really, we've done some great program drills that really replicate those ground balls at different spots in the field to just really get your guys playing aggressively and just understand the decision-making process, in those spots.
I gotta love Coach Mitchell here on the self turnover, little upset, throwing his hands around, but then great 54 drill. How you doing, Coach? Make up for it.
Coach Mitch is my favorite emotional guy in the side. He is great. He is great body language. He's all over the map. He's so fiery. Half the time he's frothing me up during the game. But yeah, I mean, look, that's a careless mistake. That's a guy switching hands in front of his face. Shouldn't be getting stripped by a short stick. That's a veteran on our team. He knows that's a bonehead turnover. So
I love it. It's the classic coaching. Like, you get upset about something. I do it all the time, being emotional, and then oh, how about that? We just scored.
I know, you're all sitting there yelling timeout, 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 and then he scores. And you're like, brilliant. Just how we drew it up. But hey, this is Virginia does it to us in about 15 seconds later. So, and that is, that's what, when Coach Tiffany and his staff were at Brown, they used to dominate people in the gray off the face-off and those frenetic situations. And, they're still doing an outstanding job of that at Virginia.
Who's facing off for you here, Coach?
This is Jack Henry Barra, junior for us, doing a good job. He was in there tying him up. The LaSalle kid does a great job at the X, but we kind of wanted to get him in there, tie him up, and let our wing guys come in and have an opportunity to make a play.
Who's covering Sowers right now?
I believe the Kaloji kid, if I'm pronouncing that properly. I think the Southstead kid was out with injury. So they did a good, they kind of left Michael on an island a little bit. They kind of let him cover him, and kid did a good job. He put the ball on the ground a couple times, times early in the first quarter. And so, yeah, that's a good little look to the backside.
Great look.
Mike, can you go back to the pick real quick? The reason why I just want to highlight the pick is we talk so much about this exact action against Hopkins, and I thought Hopkins was getting blown off these picks. Like, they were just getting picked off every which way. Where I'd like to give the Virginia guys some credit is, that you're starting to get a little tighter to the goal. Maybe you're starting to worry a little bit about a shot, but they're almost challenging him to step away and shoot, right? Mm-hmm. And they're doing a great job of getting around that pick, which I think.
I mean, you guys know where 22 where Sowers finishes the ball from. So if you can make him take a 12-yarder, that's probably a better bet. So you could say that's why in the first quarter they may be playing underneath the picks.
Right.
Great motion though from 8 on the backside there.
Yeah, and again, like this is hopefully there's a lot of communication from our guys on the backside, and if we can get a good isolation dodge against a short stick, we'll take those dodges all day.
I just get so excited when Sowers has the ball.
He really is an exciting player to watch. I mean, it was really impressive to coach him, for the 4 years. Just most fun coaching him because he really does think like a coach on the field. I mean, in this game, if we were to watch the whole game, he comes off a high wing pick early in the first quarter, takes a shot, scores. Comes off a high wing pick again, they slide early, throws it for. My point is he's making the reads in the game and remembering how they played it in the past too, which is which is incredible for a college guy to be able to communicate that, to his offensive coordinator throughout the game. So very impressive kid.
Sorry, we had a timeout here. I'm just jumping ahead to the zone here, if you don't mind, Mikey.
Yeah, that was I was going to ask the same question. We're on the same page.
Yeah, I mean, this is good. You put us on blast a little bit. We actually get lit up here. It's our first zone possession of the game. So, Coach Hirsch, our defensive coordinator, I'm probably jamming them too much to try to get zone possessions in. And this was the right time. This was, and if you could pause it real quick, just coming into this to give you guys a little backdrop. So Virginia's played a couple games at this point. They are extremely athletic. They've got guns and guys everywhere. Yep. Can you make them a little less athletic if you zone them? I don't know. Maybe we thought we could. So, maybe we could make them a little more predictable. I guess that's always your thought process, as a coach when you're going to use zone, whether to try to slow them down or make them more predictable. So we thought maybe both. We had a decent idea of what they may come out to do. And actually, believe it or not, we rep this same play in scout. And, I'm actually embarrassed to say that because we screw this up. But you'll see as this works. So we're just kind of playing the 3-3. We kind of called this play. I think we labeled it like a little wing dive look. So if you rewind it, 24 kind of throws the ball and then kind of seals down, and him and Kraus do a little exchange. And what's going to happen is if you can highlight 27 on the base, he just misses his assignment. He gets sucked up field here. So you'll see it on the backside, as the carry comes up. 24 kind of seals down, and then 27 gets sucked up field. At this point, our point of pass for Princeton zone versus Virginia was pretty low. So 27 should have passed that. He should be playing with his heels tighter to the crease to not give up that backdoor look. And Virginia, like clockwork, you're going to see this happen. They're going to throw it to the wing. 27 is going to get sucked up. Pause it. Our crease guy's going to have to spoke out to cover his rear. Right. And then we're going to get tapped inside. And Virginia does this like clockwork. I mean, this is beautiful offense for Virginia, and this is not great defense for Princeton. We were really bummed out.
That was always a big Coach Peluso thing, talking about heels on the crease so no one could get under you in the zone.
I mean, look, and we didn't get slicked on that tap in, but it just put us out of position. So, look, you can see us on the sideline. Coach Hirsch he's really upset. He's also saying to me at this point, being like, hey, Coach, look, we understand what was coming. We just screwed that up. If we need to go back to zone, we're very confident we can go back to zone. We ended up not going back to zone that day. Virginia picked us apart too quickly. We ended up not going to it. So, but good job by Virginia. I tip my hat to those guys. That was tight window execution.
Oh, look at the ball. Jeez. Oh, the goalie, man.
Yeah, Eric does a great job. I mean, that's, inside of 8 yards, you gotta recruit that, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm sure that's all you, right, Coach? That's all recruiting.
No. I've gone we could do a whole different episode on goalie coaching.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and goalie recruiting, right? Evaluating.
Yeah, we're not sharing our secrets there, but we'll see.
That is true, Coach. I do like to say, though, before you have shared, I think, some things that some other guys wouldn't, which we appreciate here at Back It Up.
Oh, please. I mean, look, I'm happy. Look, we want to spread this game and we want to help. I'm not going to give any of our big time secrets away, but we're happy to share. I mean, we're all doing very similar things. We may term it differently. Any drill I share, clearly the NAS drill, not my drill. I don't know if I've actually invented a drill in my time. Maybe a couple goalie drills, but nothing that's really stuck.
Let's talk about the man up here. I know that's Coach Madalon gets him a little excited.
So this actually, I love man up, and we weren't great. We weren't executing at a high level this year. We were running a little set look right here. Our timing's a little off. Virginia had it scouted very well. It's a set look we've run, I don't know, probably the past 4 years. It's nothing if you play against me and know it's coming, but you still have to cover it. Virginia has always done a great job extending on man down, using their length, using their athleticism. We do a really poor job here. I'm not sure. This may be a shotless possession, which I think it was. So not ideal. We're now back to 6-on-6. So, I appreciate you guys putting me on blast for not executing there.
Yeah, of course, Coach.
Yeah.
At least you're taking it, you know.
Hey,
I don't know
you
if
know
all
what?
our guests will take it.
You know what? We did it. We weren't great on man up this game, but we did. I think it was either in the third or fourth quarter that we hit a big time man up goal, either to put us up or tie us up or whatever it may be. But it was a really big time goal. So I guess timing of the execution is what I'll be proud of.
Hoping Coach Kerwin gives us another big little pick behind here.
Yeah, let's see what he does. Another D3 guy. Gotta love it.
He's done an awesome job. So they're working this high wing pick a little bit.
Yeah, the backside exchange.
Right. Yeah, a lot of teams are kind of using this action.
Yeah.
Oh, that's moving, sir.
Oh, I like
great double team, coach. Yeah. This is awesome. So is this
who that was? That was actually, I think that's the freshman Finley. Does a really good job. I mean, look, we're getting tight to an area we call the paint, so we want to be really physical and really aggressive on picks around the paint.
Right. Well, he just trails us and stays with it. It's awesome. I mean, is this in the
so
scout
he
all
is
week?
trying to put
poles on poles?
He is trying to push over that. I'm not sure he realized how quickly 24 would be able to get his hips downfield again. I mean, good job by the guy covering our shorty.
Yeah,
I think that's freshman Sammy English too. So those are two freshmen on ball that made a pretty good decision right there to get a turnover. So again, the tighter the picks are, the more aggressive we're going to be. And we understand that off ball, so we're kind of ready to cover up for those guys if they end up having to throw back or whatever it is. But that's kind of just a program approach, a little more aggressive and tight.
Love it. Love the aggressiveness, especially against the Canadian who's going to stay to that left hand there. And if he rolls back, 10 can kind of feel it as long as, like you said, English slows down his pace. It's awesome. Oh, I know.
Sowers, high wing.
Is that 20? Yeah. So Coach Mitch doing a great job, of just moving our guys around. We were probably, that's actually,
oh, no,
I think the Sowers in the near side. So
yeah, it is.
we're attacking his short side there. It's going to be McCarthy, I think. Who's that?
I think it's number 8.
It's Connor McCarthy. So that's senior for us. Anyway, that was a great play. But, Coach Mitch does a great job of kind of moving our guys around, where we're attacking from throughout the game, how we're attacking. So that was a good job. I mean, we were probably attacking bench side most of the start of that quarter. So to get our guys on the far side and, to start it with a shorty instead of Sowers, just a good little change up.
Here's Virginia going, here's LaSala. Petey.
Yeah, so, I mean, look, they take our face-off guy behind there and they run a little big little. At that point, I'm sure Coach Hirsch would prefer George Bowen on Matt Moore than our face-off guy. So we're gonna try to really stay with this matchup. Whether George has to get over or under it, we will kind of give our defenseman that opportunity. That's a hell of a move by Matt Moore. Gets a step on George, and that's a great save. So we're fortunate there. But good little decoy by Virginia. I mean, look, like you come back, bring a face-off behind in the pick game, and you heard me talk loudly. I mean, it's not that we don't want Tyler Sandoval. It's not that he's not capable of playing defense. He's a freshman. It was one of his first college games playing. So, no, we don't have a ton of confidence in his defensive ability right there.
Right.
That was another great save. And that kind of highlights how Eric Peters really got us in this game and kept us in the first quarter. I mean, Virginia statistically does a great job of jumping on people in the first quarter.
The pace of this game is insane.
So if you can rewind it right here, that look right there, if you remember the first clip we watched, number 23, who actually got his bell rung, this is another one where we actually don't hit the attackman. So if he just threw it one more, we might have had a great look and maybe a potential goal. We had a nice little come to Jesus meeting as a team with a lot of laughs and a lot of smiles after this. We're like, hey, throw it to the guys. We pay the big bucks to score.
Yeah, exactly.
And look, Bo Pettersson's a former attackman. He was a recruited attackman. So, he has a lot of offensive capability. But look, funny. We want to kind of hit the one more and, let's get it in the right guy's sticks.
That's the Coach Metzbauer. If you were an offensive guy, you'd be playing offense.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. Well,
I say
maybe we may be a little more lenient there, but he's not wrong.
He's not.
In a general sense.
I know. When I was the offensive coordinator, I would say the same thing as the head coach. I'm kind of letting it go and being more of
Well, that's important. You're empowering the kid to play.
Yep.
So talk us through this. I mean, I guess we saw a bunch of this when we broke down the Hopkins game. We'll end with this here, but I mean, this was kind of the bread and butter, right? I mean, for your offense and designs.
Yeah, we looked at this. I mean, we ran a lot of this. This was one of kind of our 3 base sets. We did a lot with the ball side pair with Sowers in it. And again, Coach Mitch just did an awesome job moving Michael around, keeping him at X certain spots, putting him above the cage, putting him in the slide spot, putting him as our initiator. So really, really tip my hat to Coach Mitch there. But yeah, did a lot. We found success here with this. It is very tough space to cover. And you can see the pressure it puts on a defense. Like right here defensively, you've got to decide, are you going to come off the guy at X? Everyone in the country, it's like, I mean, I look at our defensemen this year. I remember looking at our defense one practice being like, I don't know what it is. In the last 5 years, it's like this backside tap in has become everything in offense. It's like this. So like, can we just learn or eliminate the backside tap in? So Sowers, I mean, you watch, goes back to 4 years ago with Sowers and Gavin McBride. And every team's doing it now. So to really keep one guy at X and play that cat and mouse game, I mean, I think back to Denver when they had Connor Cannizzaro. I mean, they wrote the book on how to do it. That's who we learned from. So, we're just kind of, so being able to, if you come from the crease, then you've got to kind of help down from the backside and you open up the skip lanes. If you come off the base, you open up the backside tap in or the redodge. So these are all things that Coach Mitchell's done an outstanding job of training our guys to looks. And with simple communication, our guys will be able to communicate where they're coming from and how to take advantage of. So that was a really nice play. I appreciate it. That was very, that highlighted that very well.
At one point in that play, he had 4 guys guarding him off the pick.
Yeah,
he had his man, the guy guarding the picker, the guy guarding X, and the slide guy hedged.
I smiled because that's probably the best way to defend him. That poor guy has seen. I used to remember watching him from his sophomore year on in high school. I mean, he's been face guarded, double team, triple team, shut up. It's remarkable the different defenses he's seen. But he's awesome, and I think that's what's made him, such a great thinker of the game because he's really had to be able to communicate it.
Very cool. I mean, it was awesome to get a little insight into what you guys were doing there. Your goalie played unbelievable, by the way.
He really did. He played unbelievable.
But I guess we're going to move outside / inside the lines, talk a little bit about kind of like dynamic of building a coaching staff. Maybe I know we touched on Coach Peluso earlier, and obviously I can speak to working with Coach P because I had big shoes to fill for my 2 years there. I was referred to as the new Madalon. So
oh God!
So definitely, that's how Koch, my first year, introduced me to everybody. It's like, yeah, he's the new Madalon. So those are big shoes to fill. But it sounds like what you're doing at Princeton sort of mirrors what he was doing at Stevens. So maybe just talking about the dynamics of.
Yeah, I mean, I learned. Look, I think all of us can go back and you can take things you liked and didn't like from any staff. And as an assistant coach, it was always my goal to make the head coach's job easier, whatever it was. And know that if I ever earned the right to be in that position, I would probably have more weight to be able to make some decisions so I knew that as an assistant coach, being part of a team and being a great staff member was really important. But I mean, that's like I build a staff like I build a team. I mean, we want great guys. We want guys that we enjoy hanging out with and they connect with and that are authentic. And, but I'd say what I learned from Peluso the most is really how to kind of empower your staff. This is just a quick little story, but, Coach Peluso, we would start practice every day with like some team stick work, whatever it may be, really simple fundamental drill. And then we would break to get into positional work. And that was offense down one end with the offensive coordinator, defense down one end with the defensive coordinator. And I hope Coach Peluso is not embarrassed in telling the story, but I'll try to make it right. But anyway, the first, I guess, so Peluso doesn't come out to practice for the first 15 minutes. He's kind of just like hanging there. And right off the bat, I know as a coach, like I know head coach is like, hey, I'm not coming out for the first 15 minutes. I want you guys to be able to get off and running, perfect. And I'm like, all right, perfect. This is great. What I never realized is why he was doing it. And he had 2 very young assistant coaches on his staff. And he was just trying to teach them and groom them and empower them. And really what he was doing, and this all came to a head because, you know, there was something came or another that Coach Peluso was late coming out to practice. And, you know, and somehow we get into talking about this. And I finally realized why Coach Peluso was late and why he was intentionally late coming out to practice. And the reason why was because he wanted to see Koch and I run the stick work drill and run the team stick work drill. And he wanted to hear our voices fundamentally. And then he wanted to see, could we bring the team in, split them? Could we get them to our position works? Can we get them off and running? And he wanted to allow us to have that command there. And I'm forever grateful for that. And it took, you know, it took me probably that conversation. I was probably, you know, too thick to realize it at the time what he was even doing, you know. But anyway, I've never forgot that, because, you know, I think you really do, as much as you want to kind of control everything, you really do have to hire the right folks and then empower them, you know, so they really can own and dominate their group and really make those connections. So for me, like, it gave me a lot of experience, like blowing the whistle or like bringing a team in and communicating to a group. And then, you know, the other thing, what we did while I was working for Coach Peluso is we actually started a JV team at Stevens Tech. You know, we wanted to be able to bring in bigger recruiting classes. So we started a JV team, played about a 6 or 8 game schedule. You know, we played JUCO, junior college in Brooklyn. We played Army prep, Navy prep, you know, any teams we could play to create a little kind of JV schedule. And he kind of allowed Koch and I to be like the co-head coaches of that team. So we would then I got to sit on the sideline as a head coach, you know, which was wild. There was only a handful of games, no high level adjustments, but fun nonetheless. So I'm really grateful for that. I mean, not to mention, like, I think what Coach Peluso does better than anyone else. And, you know, he's, you know, his wife, Beth, and, you know, his daughter, Stephanie, and his son, Patrick, like, they were always around the office. And he always incorporated his family in everything. And I thought that, and he was never shy to say that, like, this was one of the few jobs that you could have your family around you, in the office, in the locker room. I mean, I remember his wife, Beth, getting all over us for letting Zach McHugh take too many penalties. And I'm like, this is awesome. You know, I hope my family's as engaged as this. But it was just so cool. So he does a great job of kind of creating the family atmosphere. And, you know, I owe him everything, you know, for helping me in this career. But he was awesome. I mean, he really let us do a lot. He let us learn. He let me be a first-time offensive coordinator. I mean, there was at one point we had some turnover on staff, and, you know, I'm a goalie. Peluso's a defenseman. Koch's a big, tough defenseman. We're all sitting there being like, who the heck is going to coach this offense? And, you know, I remember sitting here, and this is actually, hey, here's another real story. And this is something that I haven't told many people. I don't even know if Coach Bresci knows this. My brother's playing down in Carolina. My youngest brother, one of 5, I'm one of 5 kids. My youngest brother's playing down in Carolina. And, you know, he was all ACC. So my parents are at a banquet with him. And they sit down, and my dad's like, hey, one of my sons is, you know, a young guy. He just got into coaching. He's in his 2nd year. Do you have any advice for him? You know, he wants to be a head coach. And Joe Bresci, I'm sure Coach Bresci doesn't remember this, but he looks at my dad and he's like, hey, look, like, my advice is have him hold every single position on staff before he becomes a head coach, so he knows how to hire it. And, you know, so he's like, be a grad assistant, be a second assistant, be a first assistant, be a recruiting coordinator, be a D coordinator, be an O coordinator, so that when you do become a head coach, you understand what it takes to be successful in each one of those positions. And it's advice that I probably haven't shared enough, but I think about it often. In every interview I've ever been in, I think about that advice. And I was probably 22, and I remember my father giving me that advice and being like, man, I hope I can remember this. So yeah, I mean, I've been really fortunate, and that helped make that decision of whether or not who was going to coach offense in that conversation. That really helped push me over the edge to be like, I really want to take this jump. And then I realized, you know, I think my personality lends itself better to being an offensive guy at that point in my career. A younger, relaxed
personality
guy.
definitely lends itself to being a defensive guy.
Oh,
yeah,
my
exactly.
goodness. Koch and I, Peluso would laugh. We would be going out for pregame practices, and we'd be like, all right, Koch, you cannot yell at the guys. Like, this is pregame. We want them feeling good. Like, Koch would leave the office, and we'd be like, what's the bet? 10 minutes in, 15 minutes in. And you look down the other end, and Koch would be blowing a gasket on his guys. And it was awesome. It was just the fiery nature of him, and that's why I love him. But we would laugh so hard about that stuff. Yes, in terms of the defense, I mean, look, Coach Peluso's defensive guy, Koch, he was awesome. Yep. It was a blessing for me to go to the offensive side. So
I think it's kind of cool, sticking with Coach Peluso for a second too. I think something that, he maybe doesn't get enough credit for is like how well he grooms coaches, kind of like everything you said. I mean, look at his coaching tree, right? I mean, there are head coaches everywhere, 2 in the Ivy League that were in the Coach Peluso coaching tree with Coach Milliman and you. So,
well, now Milliman over at Hop, but yeah, spot on.
But 2 big-time Division I head coaches, for Coach Peluso's tree, and I think that's indicative of sort of his ability to groom and kind of give his staff the reins and the power to make mistakes and learn from them and have success.
Yeah, he's one of the best coaches I've been around. They're spot on. His coaching tree is awesome from his RIT days to his Stevens days. It really is. And I don't know, everyone's just, you can see the loyalty everyone has to him because of how well he takes care of you. He also does it in like a really great way. Like he makes it fun. You're always laughing, always. So too many funny stories, none that we can share.
No. Coach Silipo, what's on your mind?
I feel like I've done a good job of angering Coach Peluso on the Ithaca side of things, so I don't want to get into it and be on that side.
We started
where
smacking Ithaca once you graduated. once Coach Silipo graduated, the tables turned.
That's all right. We turned him back once I got on staff. So that's true though. My senior year, we got pumped. Oh God, you guys, body.
But I've always liked the Ithaca style of play because it always reminded me of the Roanoke style. I always called Ithaca kind of the Roanoke of the North. Just always kind of appreciated that. Always appreciated the run and gun style. Like never overcomplicated things, and always bigger, stronger, and tougher. Very good teams.
Respect, man. Thanks, man.
Yeah, hell yeah, you got it.
I'll be honest, Coach Mads. Silipo's best attribute as a YouTube series host is squeezing compliments out of the guests.
Yeah, that's good and that's impressive.
That's the only value I'm realizing.
I said it's your biggest. It's your biggest.
To allow our fans to realize what a shitbag I am, and to allow our guests and everybody to make fun of me, and then I just try and squeeze something. It's good, John.
I very much appreciate these conversations. I mean, it's tough. We're all itching to coach lacrosse. We're all dying to coach it, we're dying to recruit. If we all have to watch this, if we all have to watch some recruiting events, over film, we can all pull our recruiting chairs together and,
nice.
Sit right next to each other, I guess. Who knows?
No, we could. That's great.
It'll be lonely out there without Coach March.
Oh.
Yeah. We used to have like the Renetto, the double pullout.
Well, he did blow us off, Coach. Coach March was actually going to be our first guest, but he unfortunately
will be an awesome guest.
It, so
keep pushing him. We'll be a good one.
Yeah, we will. We've let it settle a little bit. We'll bring it back. Coach Mads, thanks. It was just awesome. Thank you so much for coming on and taking the time with us 2 idiots and teaching us a lot about what it takes to be a head coach and run a program, and you've done an exceptional job. And we hope to see you on hopefully we can Zoom a recruiting event together, and then one of us will share the screen so we can still be there in spirit.
We can only hope. I really appreciate you guys having me on. This is awesome. I absolutely love talking lacrosse. I love sharing. I don't even come close to having it figured out, so I appreciate the compliments, but not even close. A lot of work to do in our program, a lot of work to do, just on myself as well in terms of this career. But I appreciate it. It's awesome hanging with you guys. I missed it. I'm not sitting next to you guys, come tomorrow. So thumbs me out.
Appreciate you, Coach Mads.
Thanks, Mads.
Soon enough,
Thank you.